Say at the cross something that you definitely want to focus on, instead of just throwing it as direct entry, where we just lead out with it, we don't really slip, we don't really weave, we don't really roll. That's one thing that you can definitely do. But you also need to, as you move forward and you figure out the dance and the punch, begin to get craftier with how you're setting it up. So we're going to review our direct entry, and then we're going to move out from there. So I'm going to call a 2 for Cora, okay? So every time I call a 2, she's just going to throw a 2, and that's what we call direct entry. I want you to slide out after your single 2, okay? 2. That's a slide out, okay? Back in front here, 2. Nice. When she recoils it, she steps with her rear foot to maintain and achieve an angle. So give me a 2. Good, all right, back in front. The same thing, she goes to the body cross. 2. That's just our direct entry. I'm not giving her anything or feeding her anything to set that up. Now let's say that I am feeding her some punches. She's going to slip those punches in return with the cross. So let's go over some of that. Where I want you to slip your jab, come back with the straight right hand for your stance, straight left with your southpaw, and we're just going to throw the 2. Okay, slip the jab, 2. Nice, right? And you're going to, for the purpose of video, we're going to go into sliding out as we add on. I'm going to build the information here at the front end, and then we'll go through and review it. Okay, so slip the jab, 2. Nice. Okay, now I want you to slip my jab and slip my cross. Okay, you're going to throw a cross when I'm throwing a cross, a half beat. Jab, cross, right there. Okay, do that same thing to the body. Slip, slip. Okay, slip the jab, come back to the body. Right there. Okay, so those are some ways that we like to set up our cross off of slipping. You definitely want to be adding on exit footwork, unless you're using that to enter into a combination, like a body cross to cross, or anything of that nature, as we'll go on into when we're doing combinations in other videos. Okay, so that's a basic way to set up our cross off of slipping. Now we move on to setting up our cross off the weave. Most standard entry is weaving my lead hook, orthodox, unorthodox, to set up your straight right. So I'm going to move my shoulders over for her. She weaves, straight right hand, snaps it back. Weave, very good, weave. Nice. Okay, now what we can also do is we can do a double weave, right? Now I'm going to, for this, I need Cora, she's orthodox and I'm orthodox, weaving this direction to set up her straight right hand. So I'm going to throw her my rear hook or overhand first, then my lead hook. She comes back with the straight right. Double weave, 1 weave, 2 weaves, straight right. Okay? Again, as we build, you need to be adding that footwork on, sliding out, maintaining, creating angles. Okay, so those are some concepts on our weaving. Weaving's a big thing we use to enter into punches. Okay? One other concept we're going to cover is what we call slip, slip, weave. So if I'm to throw a jab cross hook at Cora, she's going to slip my 2 straight punches, go under my hook. 1 through 3 is what we call that in our numbering systems. Almost in every single block we cover for the most part. And what we're going to do with that is she's going to slip, slip, weave, come back with a straight right hand. Okay, so slip, slip, weave, slip, slip, weave, slip, slip, weave. Very nice. Next, we're going to get into parrying as a means to set up the straight right hand to the cross. Okay, I like to refer to it as the cross more than anything because that refers to orthodox or southpaw. So don't get confused if you're watching this as southpaw and you hear me say straight right. I try and refer to it equally as straight left, or just a 2, or cross. All right. So up next, we're parrying. So what I want Cora to do is she's going to do what a lot of systems, particularly JKD, call a riposte. But she's going to parry, and you don't have to kind of intercept and then come my calf beat. What I want you to do is just kind of knock this down here, cross. Okay, so she parries my jab, cross. Parry, cross. Very good. So that's the same side parry. Now, let's say she's going to do an offside parry, which is one of my favorites and makes a lot of sense. So when I jab, I want you to parry with this hand here and then a straight right. It's also really good for an overhand, that forward punch. So she parries, parry, parry, parry. Very good. A couple other ways we like to parry when we're setting up our cross is parrying the cross. Or if they throw a straight right hand at us, or that could be a jab if they were southpaw. Okay, so Cora's in her base, and I'm going to throw my cross. She's same side parry, and she goes across. Now she can parry my jab cross. Same fundamental entry. People throw jabs, crosses, and jab crosses at you a lot. So she parries, same side, straight right. Very good. Because when we get into our block 5 and 6 and we do our single, double, triple jab drills, we'll go a lot more into parrying details. Cora did a really great job. You can't knock the punch to the side. You can knock it down. You can knock it over. Okay? We'll get into a lot of jabbing drills and parrying drills to really cover those things together as we move into our next blocks of information. That's kind of a preview of what 5 and 6 is going to be. Lots of straight punches and lots of single, double, triple jabs to the head and body. Okay, so that's some details on parrying and how to set up our cross off the parry. So be sure you're always keeping those details fresh as you move forward and work those parry entries and people are throwing those straight punches at you. Next setup we put towards the end because it's one of the last ones we want to have to use. A parry, slips, weaves, those can be very effective to get angles, set up footwork, set up combinations, half beats to the body, etc. But there's an old saying in boxing and in fighting that if you're blocking, you're losing, which is usually a true assertion or a true statement. So what Cora's going to do is she's going to cover block and body block in this little series we do here, and she's going to return either same side or off side. Excuse me. So what we're going to start off with is Cora is going to cover. She combs, kind of turn and face the camera here. She combs her head here and she brings this to the center. And her elbows are almost touching, but she still maintains a line of sight. And her temple and jaw are both protected. Okay, so she's going to cover block here, cross, cover. As soon as she feels it, she returns. Hits that same side mid. Okay, now, same thing, but we're going to do, so that's an offside return. Boom, boom. If she covers and shields on the other side, go ahead and comb and bring that to the center, right? And a little lower on your elbow, okay? Sometimes I'm worried about revealing too much of my ribs, right? So it's kind of just like when we parry, it's like a 2-inch margin, right? So when I cover block, I'm going to have to bring my elbow up a little bit, but I also kind of sink my shoulders down so I meet in the middle in a sense. Okay, so that's just some details on our cover block. Now, as we do the same side return, as soon as she feels it hit her forearm, she's going to return the cross on the offside mitt. But she's returned same side that she blocks on. Okay, let's do kind of like an A and a B on that. Offside return, same side return. Offside return, same side return. Now, when she body blocks, it's 2 inches also. She's just going to kind of crunch down there. Okay, and if it sometimes in kickboxing we'll bring our hip to our elbow a little bit as well. Okay, so we're going to do body blocks and we'll return with the cross. So here's what I want us to do. Let's do an offside return. So I hit you here. Okay, and a same side return. This is one of my favorites. We'll also do that to set up uppercuts, but we're not going to go over that information until we cover uppercuts. It's a direct entry. It's something we're leading out with. So we're countering here, putting them offside there. Same side here. Right, so there's a few ways to counter when someone is hitting us. These work particularly well when people hit you with a single shot and then they're taking a break. You catch them resting. Or just you hit them as a counter really quick. You work on your reaction time. As soon as you block, you hit. And that can throw them off balance. We've been really covering in classes that when you hit somebody with a straight right particularly, a lot of times they're off balance so that you can score that second punch, you can get that angle and maybe score that third punch. Okay, so remember if you're blocking, you're losing, but there's some cheats we can do, learn how to be effective with it. Thanks, guys. All right, last little sequence we're going to go over is using some principles of deception. We're going to be faking as we try to set up our cross. So I'm going to go over some different details. First thing Cora's going to do is a level change. She's going to go down, she's going to come up, then she's going to throw her across. So if you level change and you notice they bring their hands down, you can use it later on in the round, later on in the fight, later on in the sparring match, what have you. And you can also, if you notice the first time you do it, you can come back with that straight right. It's set up. Okay, so it's a great entry. So Cora, just level change, go down, then come up. Yeah, just Right there. And it doesn't, yeah, that was really good. That kind of made me flinch in a sense. And like, I think of it, it's like, I'm flinching it then, but downward. Like maybe a double leg takedown. Even if you're doing boxing and kickboxing, that doesn't really apply. But just that sort of straight down, you can pause and come up, what have you. But I almost like think of the analogy of making him flinch, okay? So here she goes down, comes up, straight right hand, good. Level change, 2. Level change, very good. Okay, so now what I want to do is some hand fakes. So for what you're going to do is you're going to fake with your jab, throw your cross. Fake with your jab, and when I do that, I tilt my shoulders a little bit, boom, so I can have some power generation on that right hand. Okay, fake with your jab, throw your cross. That was really good. Fake with your jab, throw your cross. Fake with your jab, throw with your cross. Very good. So show me a little bit of the shoulder, show me a little bit of that hand. See that hand and shoulders coming forward. Now, you're going to fake with your cross, boom, and go. So you're faking, bringing it back, and then firing. Okay? Fake with your cross. Very good. In an MMA glove, we're going from here, we're flashing the hand. Right? You can keep the fist closed, but here, I like to flash that hand almost again like the flinching analogy, and I show a little bit of the shoulder too. Right? And be sure we get rotation on that, twisting it out at the end, as Cora is demonstrating when she shows the technique. Last detail is we're going to what we call a pause punch. We're just adding in a timing mechanism we call a pause. So Cora, what I want you to do is you're going to come forward, pause, and then continue. Okay? So you come out a little bit, and then, right? Fake, and go. So what you're doing is you're getting a reaction out of them, and then after their reaction, you hit them in the face. It's a very, very effective strategy. The pause, fake, set up on the cross. So those are some fakes that we like to use to set up our straight right if you're orthodox, straight left if you're southpaw, our cross, or if you're thinking about 1 through 8 numbers, our number 2 punch. It's the same as when we do our 1 through 4, and even when we do jabs and things of that nature, we say double jab, triple jab, right? So it's not a lot of confusion to be had there. All right, thank you so much, guys, for checking this out. Be sure you're setting up your cross and coming up with some strategies to help you do so.